Right, what's up everyone? Mayong hapon kids sa inyo tanan. Welcome to back to TEDx Villamontes Ideas Worth Spreading series, an online exclusive fundraising campaign where we talk with the leaders of today, spearheading revolutionary work for a better tomorrow. Unfortunately, we once again ran into technical difficulties yesterday and we apologize for this inconvenience. We were experiencing technical issues with our live stream software and we promise to do better in the future. If you wish to see the live of Councilor Don Calmenares, the link is in the description of this live. Before we continue any further, we ask everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, TEDx Villamonte. Link is in the description of this live. This will help generate funding for our TEDx event coming this October. So please do subscribe and like all our videos on that channel. Madamo gid nga salamat. To all the movie buffs and binge watchers, today's live will be the one for you. Should you also aspire to create your own films? We also hope we have up and coming artists, directors, and cinema experts as we are going to be tackling the art of filmmaking. Joining us today is Jed Descutido. He's a graduate of UNOR and a fresh graduate of the Bachelor of Science in Electronic Engineering. He's known in his school as a renowned aspiring filmmaker. He has made several films that have been submitted to different film festivals and independent film productions such as One LaSalle Film Festival and the Cinemalaya Shorts Film Competition. He's also a mentee at the Western Visayas Mentoring Initiative, founded by the team behind John Denver Trending, which won the award for Best Film in Cinemalaya 2019. So thank you for joining us today, Mr. Descutido.
Hi, thank you.
So today
Hi.
we'll be. Oh, yeah. Hello. Can you hear us, po?
Yes, yes.
All right. So let's just start straight off the bat. How does the process of filmmaking usually go? What are the steps that usually come into the creation of a film?
Well, actually, when creating a film, it does not have, it doesn't need to have necessary ng steps talaga. It always, um, its core should always come from the filmmaker on what he wants to tell the people. It it should always come from that. And I think inspirations play a big part in creating films and in storytelling as well. So
Definitely.
in starting siguro in creating a film, one should always look into interesting stories that he or she encounters in everyday life and something that would start a discourse in the near future as well.
So if I would like to recap correctly, you you say that film doesn't necessarily have to follow a certain order into creating such a work or such a piece of art. So and also you say that its aim is to also inspire discourse in society, correct? So do you
Yes.
believe that films do play a vital role in society, and what role would films play, especially during this time of uncertainty that we're facing?
Well, art has always been political, even even before, and I really think its its role is vital in influencing on what we believe in, on our culture as well, and it's because the art isn't just um on how beautiful it looks like. Art should always tell something. It's deeper than making it look pretty.
Hmm.
So yes, films are something that should um make us think, make us feel something as well. Hindi lang siya pang ano eh. Hindi lang siya something that would make us laugh. It's not also something that would make us cry lang. It's something that should make us question our beliefs and what we believe in. You know?
See, so you say that what's this? Art has always been political. In what way does film what's this, come into a unique, different kind of format compared to other forms of art? How is film, what's this, separate from other forms of art? Like how what makes it more distinct than other forms of art? Like stationary art, for example, that doesn't, move necessarily.
Film is ano eh, it's it's everything that the other arts do. It's visual, it's audio, it's it's also sometimes poetic, and it's a collaboration of all the arts that we do. It's literary, it's, yeah, like what I said, it's visual again. So sometimes the like what we all say, the devil is in the details naman. And
Yes.
once we look further into the films that we actually watch, there are things that the filmmaker tells us that's only seen on the details. And I think that's one edge. That's one of the things that make films different, because it tells us something with something we only see. It's always it always anchors on its visual content.
I see. And you say that what really makes film stands out is the subliminal messages that, a director may put into his or her own film. So let's now move from what is film to the process of film. So what challenges may one face when creating their own film, especially when one is tied by budgetary cuts or by lack of equipment or by lack of with a lack of better term, lack of artists who can act well. How does one overcome these challenges?
Wow, that's a hard question, because yun nga, one of the greatest challenges provincial and regional filmmakers actually face is the budget, is the talent. And I think one should, especially here, the greatest thing that you should do to overcome it would be able to trust on the people you can get. Um and yun, with budgetary cuts, I think um one should actually you need to get all the money that you can through all the production grants that you can join in. Production grants actually are a big help in in producing your film. Especially here, we have film fests that do that. And also friends, your friends will help you every time.
I see. So,
It's a big
I see, I see. So, when creating a film, what role do you usually play? Like, are you the director, the editor, or the, or what role do you usually take when you're creating a film?
uh right now I do direct and write films, but I really hope to try um do other jobs na in the near future, so that I can finally feel what a real production team looks like and how it actually goes around.
Mm,
Because to tell you frankly, the roles I have been playing in creating a film doesn't feel that deep yet, because I know in myself that I should know more about it. That's why I really think I need to get more roles that should give me more grounding muna before I um go and achieve professional directing in mainstream films.
I see. So, Given that you've done directing and writing, so what film or director, in the terms of director's perspective, what film do you believe is a manifestation of good filmmaking? This can be either indie or this can be mainstream.
Uh, there are actually a lot, but um, I think I'm going with one of the most famous film so that makarelate na lang lahat. I think it's one of them would be Parasite
Parasite,
because
yes, that's been a what's that? That's been a ano yan, they called it it upset really the international community to see that a Korean film was able to gain such success and notoriety. Like it really took a whole different perspective and really brought, I think, a lot of what's this? A lot of fresh ideas into how a film what is being created.
yes, and also the film was made very meticulously by Bong Joon-ho, and I think it can be seen naman through all the YouTube commentaries about Parasite as well. So yeah, it's something that has been deep and something that started a discourse
Yes.
about society and the social conflicts we face today.
I think that's quite amazing that you say that because um like what you said before, films aren't just there for mere entertainment, but a good film really makes you think about your surroundings, makes you reevaluate your perspectives on life, really tries to question your perspectives and hopefully in some way inspire you to go one way or the other. So as we talk about what manifests good filmmaking, what factor is for you is a key determinant into the success of a film? Like what factor or what certain key what's this key characteristic of a film, like or a key element of a film makes one film successful?
I think it's always no, not really always. I think a big factor of it comes from the main character the film holds because the story not only revolves around him but also it the character is something we connect to. So I pretty much think that through that connection it's where we get to um influence more ourselves to think, to read more, to educate more on what to do with the character and where does this character go as well. And I think the other factors of a film contributes din naman fairly well, such as cinematography, such as
Yes.
a good script, such as the sound design as well. A film wouldn't be as good if it only focuses on the main character. But yun, if there's one factor that would make it great, it's the development of the character in the story.
See, so story really plays an important part in filmmaking. We've already covered international what's that? An example of good filmmaking in the international scene. How about in the local scene? Are there any notable directors or writers do you feel that people should know about or people should take notice that who that's creating strides and innovation within the film industry here in the Philippines?
Yes, actually, one of the up and coming new directors in the local scene is Derek Arden Condes. He is the director of John Denver Trending, which is now widely known as well. There are also new directors such as Dwayne Baltazar who directed Gusto Kita with All My Hypothalamus, Oda Sawala. We can also cite Direct Dodo Dayaw, which won in Cinema One Originals for his horror film Violator as well. Yun. There are a lot of untapped potential, especially here also in the regions, since we don't usually get that kind of opportunity in sharing our stories nationwide. But
That's true.
um, some of them have been given the opportunity, and these are direct PM Malones, um, also, of course, our very own Direct Eric Mati, our
And
very
the
own
recent
Direct
director who passed away, si director, forget his name. The recent director who passed away. What's
Peke Calyaga.
yeah, yeah, one of the what's this one of the most phenomenal directors that's also locally grown. So it's great that you also say that we should be honing our own local talents here in the Philippines. So recently we've noticed this certain trend in advertising. I'm not sure if you agree, but especially when Thailand Thailand's commercials would start to get viral, a lot of brands started including short films as a selling point to their product. How do I say? What's that? Trying to buy into the customer's ethos, like their emotions. Like an insurance company does a very emotional story with about a father and a daughter. And then here in the Philippines right now, we're noticing a trend as well. See, Bear Brand, I think did one about Lumads. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong. There was one commercial about Lumads. There was one about mothers, I think, and then there was one about, and then we have the entire Jollibee series that is just a total, uh, that is just a total sob machine for all of us. So, what do you so do you what opinions do you have on this somewhat commercialization of short films? Is it a good thing for the independent film industry, or is it sort of problematic in its own way?
Uh, well, I think it's good for the whole cinematic industry, not only for the independent cinematic industry, because it's one way of telling more stories to more people. Bale, commercials, doing short films for commercials have been a way for us to influence through a wider, a more accessible um, what do you call this medium, because yeah, like movies shown in cinemas, not everybody gets to watch that.
That's true.
Only ones who have like money, of course. Yeah, so I think it's a good move because of its accessibility, but of course, just like other films, hindi naman lahat yon maganda, and that's fine because it's also it's also a platform for us to um make something more make something better than what we deem is not good.
Hmm.
So yun, I think it has its advantages and its disadvantages naman.
I see. And also, I'd like to add, there were some commercials that tried to tell a story but didn't do a good job doing it, such as the controversial Kendall Jenner, I'd like to believe, Pepsi commercial that totally uh, rocked the world. It totally, what's this, went viral in the US, and a lot of people got mad at it because it was sort of gentrifying the Black Lives Matter movement. So yeah, there's also that context wherein, if we're not careful, we could be be very insensitive or propagating the wrong ideals. And it's with that I'd like to segue into this sort of niche topic. I'm not sure if this is a concern for you, but this is something that I've seen has been talked about a lot online. Is the concern of censorship? Like, for example, the FCC in the United States, they regulate, a lot of films. And even here, the MTRCB, there was one short film about, I think, a intersex individual that gained a lot of notoriety, but was rated R18 just because it covered the topic of intersexuality. So, but also, there are reasons why we have these censors in the first place to stop them from reaching a younger audience. I would like to ask your take on that with the whole, is it like, are our regulatory industries like, what's this? Do they stifle free expression? Or do they protect the general public from, certain certain messages or certain ideas?
That's actually a very deep topic because prior to that, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it here, but um a film by Gerald Darrow, which is called Bliss, which is actually something a very good film as well, was was um was not R18 the first time it was censored. It was given a rated X, and
Oh.
it was something Gerald Tarog and his team fought for. Uh, they held a what do you call this? A screening of the film in UP before, and they also got some of the consensus of the people who watch it on what they think should be the proper rating of the film. Tas yun, they raised it up again in MTRCB and they got the R18, and after that they were able to show it to cinemas as well. It was a story shared by Gerald Tarog in Third World Cinema Club. It's a podcast wherein they
Oh.
talk about film with directors and they also review films. So yeah, with regards to censorship, um well it is the basic well it is the job of the MTRCB to really censor them,
Yeah.
but I think there are narratives that should be told to people for them to be more aware that it is real, that it
Yes.
is existing.
Oh, by the
So
way, can you talk about like in one sentence what the plot of Bliss was?
the Bliss,
Yeah.
okay, it's a psycho thriller. It's about the character of Isa Calzado. She is a rising star, and she had this project wherein she got a really bad accident on,
Mm.
and then it just spirals down because she doesn't know what's happening, because every time she wakes up she gets this deja vu.
Ah, yes.
It
I believe this is where she's in a coma ata. She's actually in a coma, if I'm not
is
mistaken. That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
that's the point of the story. And yeah, I've seen that film actually now that I remember it, and it was quite unnerving. It was very revolting to watch that, and the way it ended also kept me on my heels. So yeah, so moving on from those topics of censorship and of what's this and of how films are created and the like, how can local people support local films? Because I noticed that the majority of people, especially in the province, we don't have easy access to sa mga cultural center of the Philippines, or like plays or mga independent films that are shown in universities in Manila or shown in universities in schools that would actually, do very well had they been released publicly. So how can we entice everyone here, or how can we educate everyone here, where to go to support a local film?
Well, for regional films, like we have Cinemigrense. It's a film fest held here in Bacolod. It's shown in the Negros Museum, if I'm not wrong. That's one thing. For them to support our homegrown films. As for the other national films, I think um it would be a challenge because yeah, like what you said, it hindi siya ganun ka nakakarating agad dito.
Yes.
So if my privilege, yun lang, if my privilege to go to Manila and go to micro cinemas such as Cinema 76,
Mm-hmm.
Cinematech, Black Maria Cinema, which shows independent films, um, they should go. Uh, it's actually pretty sad that some Filipinos stereotype Filipino movies as something badoy,
Yeah.
pangit, because of what they see in mainstream cinema, but that is not the case. Uh, yun, I think we should always trust the people behind movies because there will always be better stories than what we usually see in the cinemas, and they are only going to be known if we are going to talk about them more. So yun,
That's true.
I think if yung mga may privilege talaga na makapanood nun, um, watch it. If you like it, talk about it. If you don't, talk about it still. Kasi
That's true.
it's a way na mapapaganda natin yung film industry natin dito. One step at a time.
And I believe that's the importance, I guess, of criticism, like not only in art but also in other aspects. Wink, wink. So yes, that's exactly how we improve, a certain entity. Like if we talk about the film industry, how we can alleviate our films to a higher standard. And thank you for pointing that out, that whether you like a local film or not, um just continue to talk about it and continue to promote where people can watch the films and see it for themselves. So lastly, we're just going to ask you to tell the audience, what advice can you give to fellow up and coming filmmakers or independent artists in general?
Okay, so from the bottom of my heart,
Yes.
just do do it because and always choose something you've always loved to do.
Mhm.
Don't especially to the ones who's just starting college or just starting their life. If you've known that this is something you wanted to do in the near future, um do it. What do you call this? Invest on it because it is something you will not regret for the rest of your life. It Because if you're going to invest on it, you're not going to waste any other year, any time in your life because you're happy with what you're doing. And don't let others tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Yun. If you
Yeah.
think it's not for you, if you think it's not for you, but you still love it, just still do it. Kasi walang pipigil sa'yo.
And money is not the ultimate determinant of success. It's happiness, it's what you do, it's what makes you fulfilled at the end of the day. And it's very encouraging that you are encouraging other people to go out and do their passion. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us again, Mr. Descutido, and for sharing your experience about the film industry and filmmaking. So
Thank
please,
you.
to all our audience, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to further fund our TEDx event and to constantly keep up with updates as our TEDx event will be online most likely around October. Okay, maraming salamat po. Thank you for joining us po.